I'm hearing very positive perspectives associated with working with competition. I'm wondering if there's a threshold in regards to having a relationship with businesses that could easily be considered competition, where you might see ideas that you would recognize would be beneficial for you to incorporate, and perhaps vice versa on their part, and if there's potentially thresholds that would be undermining that relationship with working with competitors, where perhaps the confidence or trust might be violated when you're becoming competitive and actually being proactive and increasing the strength of your own company.
Mm-hmm. I think, oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm. I think that a couple things. One is that there's a fairly easy delineation between creative and everyday kind of tasks. One thing that we still, some of the chefs and myself, we pore over books and we read and we research and stuff, and it's very similar to, I'm sure, a lot of people in Lealea, especially, that there's a lot of creative industry stuff that's going on. I think working with our competition does have to have some limitations to it, and that it is, one, it's kind of an asking, receive kind of a thing. If somebody says, hey, do you know anybody that sources great coffee for cheaper, where can I get a machine that's going to be better than this one? Then sure, here, that's open source, save yourself a couple hours on the internet, because you're going to find the answer one way or the other. If somebody says, well, how did you make this exact dish, or can you break down the costs and everything for your menu items? Well, there's also some legwork where it's well, here's our suppliers, and this is where we're getting our products from, but are you going to do every single step of the way, or are you going to just help facilitate? I think that there needs to be a threshold between a full-on, hey, come and read my books and all my recipes and pick my brain and take all my time and thought, and showing due diligence in your company and being well, we're not looking for the easy way out and the buyout of walking in. But yeah, I think that there's the creative versus just the everydays is the big holdback for us, if anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that to me, a little bit of the threshold is time. If I feel like someone is not respecting the amount of time, and it's clear that they didn't want to do their own research or their own due diligence, so they're using my expertise to move themselves ahead without doing their own due diligence on their own, that's something where I think there should be a line drawn in the sand. That being said, though, at least for my industry, for those that are real leaders in my industry, they end up merging instead of deciding to compete. So I think that's an inevitability for a lot of companies too, and if you have a negative view towards competitors, that kind of limits you if you actually really want to expand. One of the biggest examples is HappyCog. So HappyCog is one of the largest web design firms in the world in the United States. And they used to just start off in New York, but then they had friends in California called Airbag Industries. And there's an anecdote right before they merged together where they said they met each other at a South by Southwest, and they kind of joked saying we'll end up working together eventually. Fast forward a couple of years, they combined their strengths, and now they're like a super design firm. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to be better than this person, or I'm going to get this, or I'm going to try to hoard all the clients and money or whatever, they've decided that, well, actually, we'll actually get more clients and more money if we got together. And I think this is something that's really, there's a lot of examples as well in not necessarily in just the web industry, but in the tech industry. Who knew that Microsoft and Apple would ever have a relationship together? But they clearly saw money going both ways. And so when you see that, why wouldn't you partner? Why wouldn't you have some sort of collaboration with your competitor, right? Because it pays off in the end.